Let's do this. All right. I was trying to make sure my sound was right. You know how the sound begins sometimes on these things. Make sure I'm not giving y'all too much sound. You know. Alright. Alright, what's good? What's good? What's good, everybody? How y'all doing today? Hopefully y'all doing good. Y'all living life the way y'all supposed to be living life. I just want to make sure that everything coming in right. But as I'm going into this session, you know, I just want to welcome everybody to the open floor with Teddy Beema. You feel me? And I appreciate y'all for coming into this podcast entry today, or vlogcast, however you want to call it. I haven't been in a little bit, you know. I came in over the weekend to really just talk about some of the things I've been through as of recently. Meaning like my trips and everything. From me, like, you know, just doing the things that I felt like I kind of like taken away from over the years. Of course, you know, things have changed. You know, new relationships have happened, emotional, business, friendship wise. Some things have, you know, taken a turn ultimately, I guess, to whatever climax that may be. But that's not the subject I'm trying to get into today. Of course, I'm gonna be coming back on here because I be having some shit on my mind. Like, you know, if you really rocking with me, you'll know what I'm talking about. So, all right. All right, my bad. I don't know why I can't log on to my for some reason my TikTok is not letting me go on, and I refuse to get on my other TikTok, you know, to post this. You know, but fuck it, it is what it is. So basically, talks I'm coming into today, like I've been just sitting back thinking about this subject today for a while, and it kind of had me thinking, and I was on Twitter, right? Or X, you know, however people want to call it nowadays. And I was like just sitting down, just like, you know, going through an article in which it said that, you know, men were more lustful than women. And it really had me like think for a second, because it was like we keep like coming in contact with folks that, you know what I'm saying, like will try to make it seem like, oh, you're this, you're that, you're this and that this and that. Granted, hey, their opinion of you is going to be their opinion. Nothing's going to change their opinion ultimately. It's really up to you to know exactly how do you feel about yourself and the matter of character that you're carrying yourself in. Hold on, my bad. I just started up my Twitch. So anybody's on Twitch, please come on Twitch. Rock out with me if you're on Twitch. I am going live on my Twitch right now to bring this episode up there. So basically, it's like I want to talk about labels and shit. You feel me? Because there's a lot of times people be throwing around just brash labels like, oh, you're this and you're that and this and that and this and this. Like I was just saying a minute ago, like I was going through this post on X and this chick said on there, hold up real quick. Let me see if I can find it, because it was a crazy ass post that saying, and yeah, they said a lustful man will never be able to lead you to God. He is a consumer of this world, a lost soul. That's what one post said, right? But then it's just like, I seen another post as well. Fuck it. Where was it? I think this was it right here. I think this is, yeah, like you had people that was commenting into the post and everything, and it was talking about, so check this. Exactly. You can build a divine connection with someone who's ruled by their flesh. You can't. I'm sorry. A man like that will drain your spirit, not even elevate it. Not elevate it. He's not seeking God. He's seeking control, pleasure, and validation. You can't walk a holy path holding hands with someone who worships temptation. Like, yo, let's talk about that part right there. Like, how can you sit up here and say that? Well, for one, how can you fix your mouth just to say men are doing this? Let's talk about it. Or is it the fact that men are the only people that are doing this, or is it the fact that your experience has only limited you to realizing that since you've only dealt with men and you've only dealt with the specific kind of men that you dealt with, is that the reason why your thought process is structuring men to be that way? Now, you're throwing around these labels like lustful, narcissistic, red flags. And so, I mean, red flags is not a word you just throw around, but everybody at red flags, but like, you get what I'm saying. And like, I see this because I follow a lot of women on Twitter, Twitter and other social media sites. Of course, it happened. I follow a lot of men as well. And this is not to get off the subject of what I see men doing as well, but this is in a conversation to like talk about, what one person is doing outside what the other person is doing. Hold on, where am I going with this really? But what I see is this a lot of times. Instead of just associating certain characteristics with people have been known to sexualize and not even really sexualizing in a matter of having intercourse, but they've gone to the measures of actually just saying that men, like, associating behaviors. I'm sorry. Yo, where's my language? Who's trying to stop up my language today? Who's trying to mess up me on getting this message out? But what I'm saying is, it's like people have put it to the notion of just saying, oh, it's one or the other. Like, oh, it's only male, it's only female. Listen, my point exactly is, it's like, we gotta stop causing division, because this is why it's so much confusion and so much like misunderstanding that's going around. In my personal opinion, it confuses people like myself. Because it's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, the women will say it's the men that are doing this, but I feel like we're only driven by the desires that you basically present or give us to be presented with. Like, I don't feel all the time that men are just driven by lustful desires. I don't believe women are always out here driven to entice men to be led by their lustful desires. Because if you want to say this, you feel me? Like, hold on, give me 1 second. He's got a message. My bad, I'm back. So, like I'm saying, like, people try to say, oh, well, men are known to just do this. And though behaviors have shown that most men will possibly do that, I don't believe that's the end all be all behavior of all men. Men, as myself, have an innate desire to, and I would say, like, this is not one of my more prouder things to say about myself, but I believe this to be true. We are formally led by surface level things when it comes to appearance. Now, granted, you have men that have grown out of like just surviving off of the surface level things, like the things they see just there at face value, and they start to look for more. They start to look for more as it pertains to like looking for, I believe, like their spouse, their counterpart, and also like what they want in general aspect of life, And a lot of people will say, well, if that was the case, then why do men always want to have sex and stuff? But I'll say it like this: why do women always want to have sex? Because I mean, scientifically speaking, there's been studies that show that women have more thoughts of sexual interactions than men do. But that's not fair to say that that's every woman. That's just a general study of the individuals that said that, hey, from what they've seen and from what they've been told, this is what the information they got. But I feel like that statement right here to say that, man, men are led by, like, a man driven by lust is led by the flesh, not spirit. I could dig that part. I feel like that's what anybody though, but like I just will hope that people start distinguishing and stop throwing labels around like, oh, if you deal with a man, or if you deal with a man, you're going to get this, you're going to get that, X, Y, and Z. I was seeing other people say like in the comments and stuff, because I'm a big comment watcher. Like we ain't gonna sit here and act like people don't be reading the comments and just be looking at the comment, because truth be told, people be going in the comments and reading, and like truth be told, we be seeing how ignorant a lot of folks be in there. Some of y'all be ignorant in those comments. Like I ain't gonna hold you, it was a couple comments I got ignorant in, like, but I remember I was seeing the shorty, she said on the post, right, she was like, yeah, oh, we all have common sense, so we should know how to basically commonly know exactly what the woman is talking about, with like not distinguishing it as, oh, being just men or women. We should look at it like she's talking about both of them. I'm saying, no. How about we just put a fucking spade where it lies at? Like, shorty didn't want to say both people, because if she wanted to say people, she would have said people. She said exactly what she did, what she said. She said that to trigger the men and, in that group. She said that to trigger the women that probably are having these issues with men the way they are. And they did that to go ahead and allow the group to be emotionally triggered by that, saying that men are lustful and men only live by the flesh. And I don't believe that to be true. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because if that's the case, then why do women still go after men then? If they only believe men to be people to go through like just this stuff of just leading with our bodies, you know. And I tend to just also ask a lot of times, man, why is it only one group of people that's always trying to say that the other group of people isn't doing their part? You get what I'm saying? Like, oh, women saying, oh, men do this, men say women do that. Instead of saying, hey, yo, I see these women that are doing this. I see these men out here doing this. I see these people out here making a change that's positive for everybody. You get what I'm saying? It's like all they're giving each other is the fact of like, hey, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing it, you're this type of person, you're that type of person. But honestly, like, have anybody truly looked in the mirror and said to themselves, what kind of person am I if I sit back and I enable what they're saying about this one group of people, and instead of telling them, hey, you know, it's not only that person, I know this person that does that too. You feel me? So I guess in all I'm saying, like, throwing around labels so easily for people just to sit here and say like, all right, cool, let me dismiss my bullshit to shine a light on your bullshit, to say that your bullshit is, it stinks more than my bullshit, basically. You know what I'm saying? Like, to just say that certain people are certain things, like, I would never, as even a man, come out and just say that a woman is a manipulative individual who uses her body to get to lead men down the path of destruction, because she know a man will easily fall for temptation of the skin any day. You feel me? How can I say that about all women? Like, all women don't display that trait. Not all women believe to do stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Who am I to sit up here and say that anybody is entitled to that type of behavior or lifestyle? Like, I'm not a person that likes to go around here and just throw around labels on people. Like, you could just show me who you are, and that's cool. Even if you show me who you are, like, and I may be upset at that moment, or it may not be something I particularly like, I can never just judge everybody based off of the actions of what you do. You know what I'm saying? I can't even say you was probably acting in your right mind, because a lot of times, a lot of people go off of an emotional reaction or response to a certain situation. You know what I'm saying? And then they'll sit here and necessarily they may not even have no hate towards you. They may not even necessarily be trying to take their anger out on you or try to say what they feel like they got on their mind at you. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times they just be doing that shit for an emotional response. You know? And honestly, you gotta be okay with understanding that you don't get all that shit. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to be okay. And I ain't saying that you have to be okay, but it would better serve you to be okay with the notion that, you know, everybody ain't gonna look at you as a perfect angel, or everybody ain't gonna look at you as a person that's doing everything right. But throwing around labels is saying that people are like this because you had a fucked up experience the way you did, man, you gotta go ahead and get that shit. You gotta get a grip on that shit, because honestly, that's nobody's problem. That's nobody's concern. That has nothing to do with nobody. That's your problems you have to deal with. I wouldn't even call them problems. I feel like that's your lesson to learn in today's class. You know what I'm saying? And though we all got classes. You feel me? We all ain't in the same blocks though. You know, we all don't go to the same periods. We all don't sit up here have the same electives. We all don't sit up here and we not even majoring in the same thing. I'm on this earth to do something else. You on this earth to do something else. You know what I'm saying? If one person's behavior is unbeknownst to another individual, then because that is a big picture being painted that it ain't for them to be fucking worried about. Excuse my French. I got way better language than this, but I feel a little bit better just keeping it real with you all, because this is exactly what you're gonna get. Like, it's nobody else's business except for you in the Lord's business about why you do and act the way you do. You know, like, but all that label pushing, lustful, narcissistic, and don't, like, I kind of mentioned this earlier. I seen people do stuff like this. They'll gaslight people and trigger people to get an emotional response out of them, so then they can either basically put a smoke screen up or try to basically validate their bullshit that they bring to the table. Bro, you gotta understand when people are gaslighting you or trying to like put you in a predicament to respond to their bullshit, because a lot of times it ain't even like that. You had a fucked up experience. It wasn't for everybody. And the fact of the matter is, if you keep noticing you're having the same issues with different people under different circumstances and different times in your life, then you gotta see what the common denominator is. My boy, everything is divisible. Or I'm sorry, I don't wanna hurt no feelings. My boy and my girls, you know what I'm saying? Like that, the answer is simple. You're the only one. Every time you get into the mix, it's like everybody else seems to be the answer to everything. You feel me? It's like you're doing 1 times 4, 5 times 1, 6 times 1. This and that and this, that and that. You get what I'm saying? You're the only one that seems to be the common denominator. You feel me? Sorry, I had to go ahead and I had to. You already know. It's a tree section. I mean, a tree session. So y'all already know. But not getting off of subject of where I'm at, because I tend to see it a lot of times too. Like I seen this one post up here. Where was it? Like people will sit back and say, like it's like, I remember I seen this study online, right? They did this study with like a group of people, right? And it was a social study. Like they had like, I think like 4 or 5 people in the room, right? And they intentionally gave the wrong answer to a question they asked, right? And they intentionally put the answer to be wrong. You know what I'm saying? But all they did was just add like a something else into it. I think it was like a little line or a swiggle or some shit. Something other notion. And they said, hey, is this the right answer to the problem? And at first, everybody answered the question right, but till one person was like, no, because this brings a different element into the question. This is this and this and that and this and that. Then you started seeing slowly 2 other people came over. And then it took a while for the other batch to really get on board. But after a lot of convincing from the other people that came on board, they started saying, well, you know what? That may be the question. But then you still had that one person over there, right? Out of those 6 people, 5 other ones have sit here and said, hey, you know what? This is the right answer. This is the answer. Knowing that answer is clearly wrong, that whatever they added to that question, they have shit to do with that. But the fact of the matter is the fact that just because that one person say, hey, you know what? I think this is right because I think it's right. It could convince those people over there that shit is cool. And that's why I said, like, you enabling other people's buffoonery or enabling other people's lifestyle and what they deem to be right or wrong, labels, behaviors, like, oh, well, you know what, since you did this, I can't, since my friend's not cool with you over here, I'm not cool with you. Well, why? I didn't do shit to you. Well, they said people who do stuff like you, or because you did this, you're this type of person. Damn, that's crazy. And I know the whole status quo, people saying, well, if somebody told you to jump off a bridge, would you do it? Man, let's keep it in reason. I promise to God, like, if you a Muslim and you ain't never eat pork before, you ain't never tasted what pork tastes like in your life, promise to the Lord, if somebody could convince you a certain way, especially somebody that you really rock with or you want to rock with, could convince you that something is the way it is, they will do it and they will be successful at doing it. And I guarantee you that Muslim will eat pork if he's convinced. If somebody could convince him that in all actuality that is a form of beef, I guarantee you that Muslim will eat that pork. I'm telling you. it takes the right convincing and the right type of wordplay for somebody to get somebody to do something else, unless that person is very sure about who they are and about where they stand and what they know. And that's where I'm getting at in this subject today, about being understanding of labels when people try to throw certain words around or try to throw little notions around based off of one little circumstance they went through with somebody that showed them something like that, or mentioned it to them, or they seen it happen. It's like, stop throwing that label shit around and trusting your own understanding. If that person, that entity, or that individual didn't do nothing to you personally, how are you calling them this and labeling them that and telling them that they are doing this and doing that? You don't know them. And at the end of the day, can't nobody convince or tell you that 2 + 2 don't equal 4. I don't care if you know in your heart and your mind that, hey, this is what I know to be true. This is what I've been shown. This is proven right to me the whole time. Lean on your own understanding. And if you don't understand, then I will tell you, if anybody you're going to lean on for understanding, lean in the Lord, you feel me? Lean in the people that show you why you could trust them to lean on, you know what I'm saying? But like, that whole situation, because we see it happen so much. Like, we look at the Young Thugs, we look at the YFN Lucci's, we look at, who are those other people like that? Like, you feel me? What's that dude name? Dude from Florida that killed his best friends. Y'all know who I'm talking about. But we look at situations like that and like, you know what I'm saying? And people will be Melly. That's his name, YNW Melly. So we'll look at people like that and we'll say up here and say like, it's like we notice it, like people be like, yeah, I rock with these people. I'm cool with these people. Yeah, I fuck with their music, this and that. Boom, 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 boom. Let's just put it in this perspective. Let's just take Young Thug for all that. You know what? We'll take Young Thug and we'll take 6ix9ine. Because if you think about it, same circumstances. Ain't nothing changed. Except 6ix9ine just came out publicly in court and said, hey, listen, I'm not going to be afraid to tell you who's telling on you. I'm not going to do it behind a door. I'm going to point it out and I'm going to show you. Thug pillow talking on the phone with his girlfriend. At the end of the day, you would expect him to do that. He's telling you, yes, I'm going to talk to my girl. But you look at it from this quote unquote, code of the streets or code of everybody else. You know what I'm saying? The code is you don't rat. We don't care the matter of it. Oh, so now a new label, you're a rat. Oh, you fake, you shicey because you did this, you did that. Like, bruh, at the end of the day, they never showed you they were doing anything different. You only upset because you expected them to be different. So now you're trying to pass around this label like this person is like that. That person ain't like that. This person has always been who they were. You just found out under unfavorable circumstances to you. So now this person's that. Now that person that. No, that person is exactly who it is. Hey, listen. This person has been an artist. They still a thug. They still whatever. They this whoop-de-whoop. You know what I'm saying? Like, they still are this person. At the end of the day, they have now just showed me their character traits. You have traits just like everybody else. Everybody sit up here and say, oh, men are this, men are that, men are lustful, men are narcissistic, men are manipulative, men are egotistical, whoremongerish, or liars, tyrannical, all this word. But I feel like anybody given the circumstances and the situation based off of where they come from or what they have experienced in their life has the ability to inhabit any and all of those traits that I have just spoken about, maybe even more that I could not even elaborate to think upon. Because at the end of the day, anybody given the opportunity in the day to do something to make themselves feel more in control, they will take that opportunity. If they have intentions to be not of the best intentions, to be more manipulative, that's That's just what it is. It's not just men. It's not just women. Because I feel like women that go out here and say, "Oh, these men are just lustful. All they want to do is fuck you and everything." Man, if that's the case, then all you motherfuckers is just fucking manipulative. Y'all manipulative as shit. And y'all fake. Because all y'all doing is using the power of y'all bodies to make these men stay in lust. To crave you all. Like, that's all y'all doing. You gotta stop looking at it like just from, it's just like this person doing that, these people doing that. No. The people that you met, what have they showed you? The people that you have encountered, what have they given you? Respect them for what they show you and respect them for what they give you. Nobody say you gotta fuck with them, but respect it and say, hey, you know what? That's just what you do. Not something I get along with, not something I choose to rock with, not type of crowd I hang around. But hey, whoever does fuck with you or let you do stuff like that, hey, cool. I can respect it. I can respect it, for real. Like, people sit up here and just continuously pray on people's insecurities and stuff. And true, nobody's is in charge of nobody's insecurity except for the person whose insecurities is affecting. Restate that again. Nobody is in charge of your personal insecurities except for you. Because they are your insecurities that you have given yourself. Yes, have people probably hurt you to the point that made you feel insecure, and to showing them that type of behavior from you, or those type of feelings or emotions, or that type of person who you are? Yes. But at the same time, you are totally much in control on how much those insecurities play a part in your life. You know, like, that's why when people be coming around here, like, and I'm not just saying around me, but I'm saying in life, when people come around you in life and they want to spew these negative words because they don't get what they want, or things don't go in the way they planned it to go, like, I never found it to be helpful for me to come out and have to call somebody a name if things don't work out, or things just don't work. Like, I talk to my shorty so much, and I try to get more of a understanding of how I used to communicate and where I'm communicating at right now in my life, you know. And the same with her, like, she'll communicate the same way back to me, and things that we may not understand, we come to understanding of. But never once will we sit up here and try to bash each other down, you know what I'm saying? And I say that with anybody in life, no matter who you're with. It don't have to be just an emotional person that you're doing this with. It could be with your coworkers, it could be with your friends, it could be definitely with your family, because your family will feel like the most comfortable is to talk to you and say certain things and throw these labels around on you, like, because they feel like they just know you. And truth be told, you don't even know who you are yet. You're still growing to learn yourself. So how can somebody be quick to give you a label or tell you who you are if they don't even know really who they are? Like, knowing who you are, like I said earlier, trusting in yourself is being comfortable with knowing that you're still growing into who you are. Now, you have habits and traits that you could choose to engage with, and that's what I mean by that. You know what I'm saying? Like knowing who you are and knowing your habits are going to help you later on down the line, from people not to take advantage of you, and for people not to make you feel less than who you are, you know. But I say that with the people outside going crazy. I say that, like, with a light heart. Like, you know, I try not to definitely go back and try to, like, tell people, call people out of their names, or try to call people or say that they're something where they're not, because it may not have worked between me and you. It may not have worked with our friendship, may not work with us when it comes to work. or having family disputes or friendship disputes, relationship disputes, anything like. But never have I looked at you like a label at first. Why could I say that you're a label now? I feel like people could disagree and move on with their lives without having to call each other names or having to say, oh, well, this person was like this person like this. You could say, yo, I felt like I've experienced that with a couple of people. I'm not going to call that person necessarily narcissistic. I felt like I met some people who showed me some narcissistic traits. I felt like I met some people that showed me some real lustful shit. But to say that that's just what we're getting and that's just what people give us, no. Cannot, will not, do not accept. Because I feel like that's like saying somebody do something wrong, they should just know that it's wrong. You don't know what you know until you know it. Now, if consistently that person is showing you like they are not changing, this is exactly who they are, I could dig somebody just showing you the same thing over and over. You leave them alone. Also, come back and you say, hey, it's the last time I'm gonna be rocking with you if you do some shit like that. Now that is to say that, yeah, this person is just that, but people just out here be spreading labels saying, oh, these group of people are this group of people are that, but yet and still you see them still interacting with those groups of people, with the people that they say in whole that are like this and like that. Truth be told, I don't even think people know exactly who they speak of. I think they fear and speak of the traits they have secretly held within them and have put out there that they feel at guilt with. That's why they sit around and here. You know what? I ain't even want to touch on that. Let me go, But it was dope kicking it with y'all. I'm gonna catch y'all on the next episode. This is TNT Teddy Beema, and this is the open floor. You already know. Catch me on the next episode. This is me. Peace.